Welcome all of you to the fifth edition of Better Your English, hosted by SN Alumni. As I had mentioned at the close of the last edition, this weekend, it is going to be a discussion on the way in which we indicate or express or show the point of time and also the period of time by applying two very commonly internationally globally used abbreviations AM and PM. All of you definitely might or definitely must have seen the use of the two abbreviations AM and PM. Now, these are two standard abbreviations. We will take up AM in the first module and PM in the next module. So, AM is a standard abbreviation for the time period that comes from midnight after 12 o'clock to after 12 o'clock at night to the 12 o'clock we have at noon. From midnight to midday we use the Latin AM. And in Latin, it actually means ante meridiem, ANTEMERIDIEM. Actually, in English, ante meridiem means before noon. And that is why today we use AM. But AM sometimes is used in lowercase, in small letters. A full stop, M full stop. In both the United States and the United Kingdom and in other English-speaking countries, it is small a full stop, M full stop. Now, sometimes it is used in America, especially, without a full stop, because things have come to be very fast these days, as typing is done not only on the typewriter, and writing is done not only in the white paper. We do lots of writing, printing, typing through various media. So we can use small a, small m without a period or without a full stop in between or after the letter M. But generally, AM sometimes will be confused for the first person verb I am, because after the first person I, we use am. So to avoid that confusion, we always use the full stop in between AM, and also after M we use this full stop. But in Britain, AM without stop and with stop have become common now after the age of computerization. Both are AM without stops in between or after M, and also AM with stops are used currently all over the world, in both America and Britain. I say America and Britain because these are the two more countries where English is largely used, or it is used by a large majority of the population. But in America, interestingly, there is another practice of using AM in small capitals. You can use it in large capitals also. There is no problem. I haven't mentioned it so far, because when we write, there is no distinction between small capital and large capital. But in typography, especially in America, in the United States of America, there we have the small a, capital A, and the small capital M. For all the letters, they have the small capitals and the big capitals. Now, both the stopped and stopless, so to speak, stopped and stopless, full stop ulladum, full stop illatadum, are used all over the world. And stopped and stopless are used commonly in Canada. Some newspapers, some printing presses, certain institutions, it all depends upon the style manual that you have for your institution. If you are a company, you will have a style manual. Now, there is a small confusion here which I will share with you in the next module. Now, what is the confusion? There is a confusion regarding the way we use AM or PM when we want to indicate 12 noon. So there are different countries or different establishments in different countries use different methods. The number 12 is followed by a small capital M. Small capital M in America, which in Latin means meridius. Midday, not morning, midday. 12 followed by a small capital M. But if we want to avoid this confusion totally, we can say 12 and then say noon. 12 noon, small letters. All the letters can be 12 noon. And when we indicate 12 midnight, we can say 12 midnight. We can spell out that word MIDNIGST. But actually, there is no parallel abbreviation like M for midnight. So if we want to avoid this confusion completely, the best remedy is to use a 24-hour clock, which makes 12 midnight into 24.00. Instead of, so it goes after 12 o'clock. In the noon, you don't say 1 o'clock, you say 13.00. Neither P. You need not say AM or PM. Even if you are saying 8.00, you need not say AM or PM, because if you are using a 24-hour clock, as in the railways and airports and all the international travel institutions, they use the 24-hour clock to avoid this confusion. But in America, there is another way to use 12:05. Suppose you want to indicate the morning, midnight, past 5 minutes past midnight, 12 o'clock, 12.05 AM. Just that means 5 minutes past midnight. They don't use the full stop anywhere. But in Britain and Australia, the style is to use 12.05 a small m dot or full stop. If it is 12:05 p.m. Or if it is 12:30 p.m., if it is say 12.05 p.m., it means afternoon 12 p.m. if you are using a 12-hour clock, or if it is 12:30 p.m., it means 30 minutes past 12 o'clock. So I hope it is clear. You should never have confusion regarding the use of AM and PM. So now in the third module, let me share some points regarding the use of PM, small p, small m. Just as in the case of AM, you can use a full stop in between P and M, and also after M. But you can also use PM without the full stop. Actually, PM indicates the time period between noon and midnight. Between noon and midnight. And in Latin, it actually means post meridium, after midday. That means after 12 o'clock after 12 o'clock noon, you have to use 1 minute. Suppose 1 minute is over after 12 noon, you can use PM, which means post meridium, MERIDIEM, which means after midday. Now, full stops are not essential as it does not have any kind of confusion the way it is in the case of AM, because in first person pronoun, alongside first person pronoun, we use the verb am. But in here, PM is not to be confused with anything, so that it is a very safe kind of use if you have it without the full stop or period. However, some writers use full stops in correspondence with the way in which AM is used. The full stops in AM are used. Now, PM, P dot M dot, or P full stop, M full stop. Sometimes PM without any full stop in between or after M, both are acceptable, and both these forms are used in America. In Britain, because it is a country which is a little bit conservative, they use a stop in between P and M and also after M. Now, PM comes after 12 noon or after 12 AM. If suppose 1 minute past noon is the time that you want to indicate. How do you indicate? You write the number 12, put a dot, then put 0 and then 1. That means 1 minute past 12, and then write PM with full stop or without full stop. But if it is 12 midnight, up to midnight 12, you can use PM. But 1 minute after midnight 12, you have to use 12.01 AM. Now, in conclusion, let me tell you, when you are using this PM AM kind of division, you indicate that you are not working with the 24-hour clock, but you are working with the 12-hour clock. A clock that clearly divides the 24 hours into two segments or two sections or two divisions of 12 hours each. Sorry. But in travel itineraries, you have the 24-hour schedule. Suppose you are taking an air ticket or a rail ticket, you will find that they follow the airline agencies or the air traffic agencies or the airport authorities. They follow the 24-hour schedule. Now, in international travel, suppose a person says, I will arrive at 6:30. It undoubtedly means 6:30 in the morning. If it is evening, she will never say, I will arrive at 6:30. She will say, I will arrive at 18:30. 18.30, which means 6:30 in the evening. If somebody wants to say, I would be arriving at Kannur at 8:30 in the night, you can say, I would be arriving at 20:30, because there is no sort of confusion at all if you are using a 24-hour clock. But in the end, the choice is yours. But most of the air travel agencies, the air travel concerns, and also the railways, they use the 24-hour schedule. Thank you very much.